All right, what is going on? We are here with the EMU SP1200. And this may be something that's not special to you guys or not interesting to you guys, but this is everything to me. So if any of you keep up with the live streams that we do here every now and then, you've known that I've been looking for a CV to MIDI converter, right? Something that will take CV and turn it into MIDI. And there's plenty of MIDI to CV stuff on the market. And the problem is, one, I don't need that, but most things that would convert CV to MIDI are in Eurorack format. I don't want that. I want something that works with 1/4-inch jacks. So there is one device by Kenton that does that. But the problem is, like, I really didn't want any new gear. You know, I never really want any new gear. So I'm sitting there and I'm searching how to get this done. And just by chance, I'm looking at the inputs on the back of this amazing retro drum machine. And lo and behold, what this thing does is, in order to sync to old school devices, the SP1200 will sync to a click, a CV click, right? So with that, I can get some amazing things done. So we'll just test that out today. And I have a whole bunch of other stuff going on with it, but let's take a look at what I'm talking about here. So we're here at the back of the SP1200, and this is it. This is the SMPTE click input. And what happens here is you can send a metronome source from a modular device, and the 1200 will sync to it. Now you're thinking, yeah, so what? Well, what I can do now is I can control tempo from CV. That is crazy because I can change the tempo and modulate the tempo electrically, which is insane. Not only that, check this out. Since the SP is synced to an electrical device, it can also convert that electrical device to MIDI. Therefore, I can control other samplers from CV. So now I have a CV to MIDI converter in the SP1200. All along, don't have to pay a dime, just had to use my brain a little bit. So now we'll take a look at the modular device and see how this works. But first, let's listen to the sounds that we got. So here's our drum sounds. All right, okay, so this is an oscillator. And oscillators, if they're equipped, can move slow enough to act as an LFO. Therefore, a slow enough tempo that can be clocked. So that's what I'm doing with this oscillator from the modular rack. This is the kind of coarse control now, and I can use it to clock real slow. And what I'm doing to get the tempo is I'm using a pulse wave. This pulse wave is what you saw going into the SMPTE click input on the SP1200. So when I increase the speed of the oscillator, which is here, the tempo will move. When I slow it down, it will slow down. Crazy enough. But here's what else I can do. Check this out. Conveniently, I have another oscillator just like it right beside it. And this control over here allows for modulation of this oscillator. So I'll just take a cable here from one oscillator, plug it into here, and what I can do is I can use one oscillator to randomly and slowly modulate the tempo. So it will give the kind of feel I'm hoping of like a live band that is playing, but I can subtly shift the tempo as the song is going to sort of give it a humanized feel, right? So in addition to swinging your beats and giving some soul to your beats, you can do even more by gently modulating the tempo so it always fluctuates. Mind you, a DJ won't like this, but I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the creative abilities that I can get out of this thing. So let's go back to the SP and start things up. All right, so I have the SP set up so that it's receiving its sync from the modular click on that click input. So when I hit play here, the tempo reference will be coming from the modular. All right, check this out. Okay, so you see our tempo reference is being taken from this oscillator. When I speed up the oscillator, we get a speeding up of the beat. When I slow down the oscillator, everything slows down. And I could just find my tempo here. right? And I can go much faster if I wanted to, right? But I want to keep everything kind of normal, right? So that is the crazy thing. Now here's where the modulation comes in. Now that I'm taking a reference from the other oscillator to slowly modulate the main tempo, watch what happens when I introduce that modulation device. It's basically a ramp wave coming into here, and that is moving slower, so it's going to speed up and slow down the tempo kind of in a strange way. Listen. Right? Now that is extreme, but what if I blend it in a way where it sounds kind of natural? Watch when I add it in just subtly. Right? You're getting a random kind of movement, but even more subtle than that, I could just dial it in subtly. So it'll just shift over time. Right? Really, really adds a feel to your music, and you can dial it into any taste you like, or you could just take it right out. Right? Now, we're not done. I can do more. I have many more oscillators here. I can take that and put it into the hard sync of this oscillator here, so things will get a different feel. So let's just do that right now. All right. So now this oscillator is forcing this oscillator to restart every time. So check out the feel we get now. I'll just do an extreme version. Interesting, eh? And then I can dial it in real subtle again. Just for a feel, and I could do this to my taste, any taste I want. But I'm not done. Check this out. I forgot to mention that I have this synced out to the EPS 16 Plus. Maybe I did, but let me just show you the connection. So we're at the back of the EPS 16 Plus, and the MIDI I'm getting here is from the output of the SP1200. So when the modular controls the tempo on the SP by CV, it's now being converted to MIDI, and I can control the sequencer on the 16 Plus. Insane. So now when I start the sequencer again on the SP, the EPS will begin to play along on its own internal sequencer. So the sequencer is just following the bouncing ball. It's following the sync that it's getting. So the sequence resides internally here in the EPS 16 Plus, as far as what you're going to hear from the 16 Plus. So check this out. Alright, so now in the second part of the sequence that I've added, just for more variety, let's check out what the tempo sounds like. Alright, I can get real extreme. Alright, I could take it to the limit. Right, so you get a real sort of slump going on. Or I can just get real subtle. Right, more of a natural feel. And then I can take it even more down, just in case I want to be really, really delicate, and it'll change over time. And then completely off. And all along, the sequencer will follow everything. Whether I go extreme, right? This is what I wanted to do all along, and I can do it now with the resources I have. And this is why you always got to kind of just always do checks and balances on the gear that you have, because I'm telling you, it's crazy, but 90% of the time you already have all that you need. This fits the bill nicely. It's something which I already have, which is amazing, and I can always mix and match this and control multiple things and do all sorts of crazy modulation. Like, this is just the beginning, but it's insane what you can do to now just gently move your beats even more. All right? Anyway, that is all I wanted to show for today. Keep your calendars marked for my new album, History Never Gets Old, on December 5th. But until then, please do take care. Peace.